Good fight fans, you're probably wondering where's the big four-headed motherfucker? He is currently at Control Your Narrative, but I, Noah, and Jamil.
I ain't get to come in with the foul name today. If you can see the sweat on my forehead, I wish we could have the pre-show of how I got here on time.
You should have vlogged it, no lie. But
I would have been even later.
Nevertheless, me and Jamil got you with pre-fight coverage for tonight's UFC 272, Masvidal versus Covington. There's Tijan right there. He is muted and you can't see him, but like I said, he is at Control Your Narrative, watching the premiere for that event. But me and Jamil got you with the all real crew. So,
yes,
how you feeling, Jamil? First of all, you weren't here last week because you were at a Naga event. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we was at a grappling tournament with the kids team, throwing down. Good tournament. I didn't get no matches myself. I don't usually get too many matches there. Like every now and again, you'll see it, like some black belts pop in, but I usually am just there to help support the team and coach the kids. Mm-hmm. And crazy enough, one of our older, he's 20 now, but he started as a kid, but he ended up fighting a UFC fighter in the finals of his division. He was fighting, mind you, this man on our team, Elijah, walks around probably like low 170s, gets down to 160s. He was fighting a straight up heavyweight. It looked like a boss fight on the video game.
Oh yeah, who did he fight?
Alexander Romanov. Dude's 4-0 in the UFC. Kind of a dog. Like I didn't really pay attention to him. I'm pretty sure I've seen him fight before, but it's one of those guys where it takes a few more matches before you can start matching a name to a face. Mm-hmm. The second I seen his highlight, I was like, oh yeah, this dude's a savage.
Oh.
But yeah, that was pretty crazy. You know, every now and again at the Nog, especially on the East Coast, you'll run into some legit guys. We've seen like Al Iaquinta at a Naga fighting before. Like I fought Mickey Gall, the dude that introduced CM Punk to the UFC. I went against him at a local tournament around on the East Coast.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, in the nicest way possible. He introduced him and showed him the door all in the same go.
No bullshit. Hey, what is up, Hamashu? What is good with you? Glad you could be here as always. So shit. Well, you know, we got sponsors. Mine comes to you by Lipton Tea. I'm staying away from the lick today.
Look at my guy. Yes, sir.
Wait. Backstory. That's because I've been sick for like the past 3 days. Not COVID.
Listen, but tell me about it, bro. I have a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. I think it's pretty much I was almost not about to be going where I was supposed to be going next week. The past couple of days been mad stressful, bro. I had the sniffles, you know what I'm saying? The sneezing, coughing. I was like, uh-oh. I can't be catching nothing right now, man.
I know.
I'd be sitting my butt at home.
Especially with Sadiq coming up.
I'd be sick. But turns out I'm perfectly fine. I've done 3 COVID tests so far. I'm negative. Mm-hmm. The issue is you know how you in an apartment and when the weather changes drastically, your apartment don't got time to switch it from the heat to the cold.
Right.
So you kind of struggling. Like when it turns out it hit up to the 60s this week and my apartment wasn't ready. So my air was still pumping out heat like it was 30. So it was hot. So what I do, I crack the screen door open. And I've been sleeping on the couch so I could be right by the patio door so I can get some sleep and I be baking hot. Mm-hmm. And outside, they've been doing construction on my street for a week. So what I'm thinking is, well, it had to be the case. But the only thing that makes sense is that I've been breathing in that construction dust. And that's what had me tripping. But yeah,
I think it might be change of weather for me too. I ain't gonna name no names, but somebody in my house definitely got me sick. They get sick. They get sick right around this time of year every year, and it ranges anywhere from a cold to like bronchitis. I wouldn't say as bad as pneumonia, but it definitely gets the bronchitis, and I am feeling that shit.
I usually don't get sick, but the
Neither do I.
last time I was sick, it was that Omarion, so I was paranoid.
Me too.
I was like, the normal viruses don't get me. I duck those. I'm too good for those, but them powerful, them other ones be catching me sometimes.
The potent joints, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear you're on the chill side today, like me. I'm over here with some weird new beverages. I don't want to advertise too much, but they got some new Snapple at the Royal Farms, agave and cactus. Then I got dragon fruit, which I don't know what that's about to hit. Then I got the new Gatorade. Cost $1 more than the other one, so it better taste $1 more better. You got for the healthy, it's the healthy Gatorade. You got to pay $1 more.
That sounds like weight cutting juice.
That's how society is.
Shoot, well, all right, man. Let's get straight into this card, bro. First
it's
off,
about to be lit tonight.
It's gonna be a good card. It's gonna be a good card. And we're going to go through fight. And we're going to start with Sergey Spivak and your boy, Greg Hardy. The only reason why I say he's your boy is because he played for the Cowboys.
I was about to say, don't your boy. Do not affiliate me with this man.
He is affiliated with you by virtue of the Dallas Cowboys.
Man, I like his kind of resurgence in the UFC. I like how he's trying to rebrand and trying to, rebuild himself he's trying to act as if that football Hardy and all the trouble he was in, especially what led to him no longer playing football, that nonsense. He's kind of acting like that person doesn't even exist anymore. Like that person's dead. So I'm trying to rock with it. And he's pretty humble in the UFC, but he's one of those guys you can't support out loud. You got to root for him on the side, because if somebody hears you rooting for this man, they're gonna think you condone all the nonsense he's done in the past.
Yeah, that's like the normal black man rooting for like Donald Trump.
Yeah,
even though Greg Hardy ain't Donald Trump, but like
he's been in some trouble, man. He's been in some trouble. A lot of people don't like him. You have like our main card. You have the created heel, the person who created himself as a heel. Mm-hmm. Hardy is a heel, but it's not by choice. He's a villain by default. He earned his way there before he fought, and there's nothing he can do to be a good guy anymore. He's just a villain. Hated on.
Well, that's why he's being humble, is because he has to get out of that villain phase. I feel like he's really trying to get out of that villain phase. But I don't know. Every time I see him, I just want him to get his teeth knocked down his throat. and tonight is no different. I just don't think he's that great of a fighter. I respect anybody who steps in the octagon, because it does take some balls to get in there, especially with people who have been training all their lives. Like he just started doing this like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe less than that. But I respect him for getting in the octagon, let alone he's just not good, bro. He's not polished. And I feel like the only reason why he's in there is because he's Greg Hardy. You know what I mean? He's got a story to his name. He's very aggressive as a fighter. He's not a slouch when it comes to his striking. It's not, like I said, it's not polished. It's not technically sound, but it's gotten the job done sometimes. He's an athlete. Exactly.
He's an athlete. And when you're an athlete when you're playing on an NFL elite level, that level of athleticism, just being that athlete, you pick up techniques faster. You can do these coordination type movements and pick up on those a lot faster than most people can. And at the end of the day, you can rely on just going hard. And that's what he's done. And just being able to push and get punched in his face, get dropped, and just stay in the battle. And that's what's won him. Pretty much all his fights have gone like that. He's be catching some, and he's lost to, like, even when he lost to Tuivasa, he was trying to throw some things. Like, it takes that type of guy like Tuivasa that can eat those shots and say, nah, I ain't going nowhere. I know you're going to break. And so far he's shown that you can weather the storm. He tends to fade. The gas tank ain't quite there. When the gift and the curse of being an NFL athlete. You're a ridiculous athlete, but you're used to only playing hard, 5-6 seconds at a time. and you get to take a break.
Exactly. And his problem is, which is the reason why he's lost every single one of the fights he's lost, is that they've gone past the first round. If you can get past the first round with Greg Hardy, you are 10 times out of 10 winning the fight.
Yeah, his gas tank is built for a short. It's a short burst. He can get you 0 to 60, but he ain't getting you that far down the road. He gonna look good at first, and hopefully it's done. But he's fighting a pretty interesting guy in Sergey Spivak. I hope I don't butcher his name, even though I'm pretty sure I did.
I don't know. That might be right.
This guy is interesting, man. He's one of these guys that he's shown that he can beat some guys, but he's also shown that he can lose to some guys.
Yeah.
He's lost to reputable guys like Alexei Olenek, who's one of my favorite guys. I call him the old man. He grabs people up like that old man and got that old man strength, but he's also beaten. Well, no, he's beaten guys like Alexei Olenek. He's beaten Tai Tuivasa.
He's beaten Tai. Yeah, he's beaten Tai.
But knocked him out, I think. Guys like his last fight against Tom Aspinall, you get knocked out by this guy, and it's like, okay.
Tom's a no name right now, but I feel like Tom's got a nice skill set that might be a player in the heavyweight division.
He's undefeated so far in the UFC, but it's like you look at someone like Tai and where Tai's at.
That's true.
You're beat Tai. This man. This man just took out the number one ranked heavyweight who was supposed to win that fight to get his title shot. He beats him, finishes him in the second round, and you're submitting this guy. He's
that's very true.
He's shown that he can win, but he's also shown that he can lose some too. Like, I didn't think he should be losing to Marcin Tybura. And I mean, I don't know.
And you know what?
He lost to him, and that guy beat Greg Hardy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. There's a lot of guys that have potential to shoot up or to just stay kind of coasting, and both of these guys are kind of coasting right now. But Greg Hardy came in with some steam, and he kind of lost it. But they have him more in the UFC because of his name and what he carries over from people that know him from football.
Absolutely.
So he's going to stick around even if he loses 2 or 3 more fights. People are going to pay to see him lose. So that's why he's a good fit on pay-per-views. And then if he wins,
I would.
If he wins, it's going to be something crazy. And if he loses, people want him to lose. So it's a win-win for the UFC.
I would. And
in this fight.
That's the beautiful part about MMA, though. That's the beautiful part about combat sports, period. Like, one person might beat another person. That same person that beat that person might lose to the person that
man.
It's the psychology and the way fights go. So, this will definitely be an interesting fight. I really don't see, like I said, if this goes past the first round, it's almost a 0.00001 chance Greg Hardy wins. Just because he's just not built to withstand more than 5 minutes.
He's we'll see.
What is good, Derek? Speaking of T, how did that W feel? No, that W felt great. I tried to tell that man that Pete Dunne was gonna lose, but you know what? Tonight we're just covering UFC. Tomorrow, though, we will be back on same time where I can talk shit to him personally for an extended amount of time. But in terms of the Sergey fight, I actually see Sergey winning. I see this being ended, though, in like the second or third round. I don't see it going to the judges. I think the first round is going to be fireworks, but because Sergey's got good hands too. He just throws a little slower, but he's got some power to his punch. But I do see a lot of bombs being thrown in the first round. But like I said, I think I see Sergey pulling it out in the second or third. What do you think?
I got it either ending at the end of the first round or early in the second. If by the end of the first round, if Greg Hardy can catch him enough, he can finish it there. But he can also get caught and finish there. That tends to be right where he starts to fade. And if I feel like if nobody gets finished going into the second, especially if there's action. Like Greg Hardy's not a very sit back and chill, calculate kind of guy. He's coming at you, which kind of leads to his demise around the second round if he survives. So if it doesn't end at near the end of the first, I got it being out of there early second, and I got Sergey. I gotta go with Sergey on this one. I can see Hardy catching him, but me watching Greg Hardy, I'm gonna go with Sergey for this one.
Wow, he's rooting against the Cowboy. We are going
to when it comes to football, do not associate him with that. Good old Jerry.
Jerry Jones picked him up.
Good old Jerry.
So he is there for, and you got on the Cowboy blue. I mean, it don't.
Jerry Jones loves him a villain. I'll tell you that.
Bro, Jerry Jones loves him. Anybody that'll, you know what I'm just
anybody he could pay for cheaper because he's in trouble. That's Jerry. Oh, you got in trouble? Oh, you should be a few million cheaper. Come on down.
Yeah. I'll sign you to the vet minimum. And you'll be good. All right. So moving on to the next fight, which I think actually has the potential to steal the show. Because you got two guys who have very good stand-up games, especially Kevin Holland, who's got one of the more innovative styles of fighting. Not just his hands, but with his words. Kevin Holland versus Alex Oliveira. Tell us your thoughts, Jamil.
It's an interesting fight because Kevin Holland's a guy who trended up very fast 2020, 2021. But towards the end of 2021, people started realizing that there is a very clear blueprint to beat him. Mm-hmm. And because he's not picking his fights and he's down to fight whoever, he's been matched up against guys back to back to back who are able to execute the blueprint to beat him. You know, so this is a guy who can kind of fight that strategy. He can submit. He can play the ground game. So it's interesting in that aspect as to where this fight's going to go. I think on the feet, Kevin Holland with his range and his height is going to have an advantage. And hopefully if it does get trying to take it to the ground, he shows some improvement in his takedown defense and even his takedown game, because Alex Oliveira be submitting people.
Yes, he does. He's got how many? 5. He also be knocking people out too.
Yeah, but just not so much in the UFC. He's been fighting since 2015. I was watching this dude, like this man was fighting when I went to college. Made me feel old, but he's been around, and this is the kind of fight where it's like they're clearly trying to get Kevin Holland back in the green. They're trying to get him back on. He's a fan favorite no matter what. He talks the talk, walks the walk. He doesn't care win, lose, or draw. He's going to be entertaining. He's going to talk. He fights trolls he flies trolls out to his gym to fight them. Whoever talks trash. Like, he's a guy that for Dana's like he needs this guy to win. So I feel like this is a fight where it's like, is there a fight he should win, but it's just interesting enough to where he'll get credit for winning. You don't want to feed him these guys like these Sean O'Malley guys that they're feeding Sean O'Malley, where it's like you're supposed to win, and then when you win, no one cares because you were supposed to win. This is a fight where it's like you're supposed to win, but it's a tough guy. So you're going to get your credit for winning this. So that's where I feel like this is at. And, because of that, I think Kevin's going to get it done. He's been improving a lot. Even when he still gets taken down, like against Martin Vettori and stuff, he showed like he was getting better and better each time he gets into a fight with that style of guy. So I think he's ready for the ground game, and he's dangerous on the feet, man.
He is dangerous on the feet. He's very dangerous on the feet. And the only real reason why he's not more of a major player in the middleweight division is because he does not have any type of wrestling defense. He doesn't have a BJJ game. He is strictly a stand-up guy, and he excels when the fight is primarily on the feet. But I do see this being possibly the fight of the night because Alex Oliveira is tough. He's a tough fighter. Bruh came out not too long ago. He said, I need this performance bonus because I need that money. He said, I need it all in cash. And don't short me none of my bread. So, and they're both coming off losing streaks. Both of them are still on losing streaks, actually. Kevin Holland's been dominated by Vittorian Brunson. He just had that no contest against what's his name? Kyle Daukaus. And then Alex Oliveira is also on his own three fight loss streak. So, there's going to be some high implications for the both of them. This might not, go towards progressing towards some type of title fight, but it is going to be weighing heavily on the both of them just because they need to get back in the win column. You already spit out your prediction, and I am going to second that. I think that Kevin Holland also is going to win today. I do see this going to the judges by unanimous. I think Kevin Holland is way too prolific of a striker and way too creative. And I think he's just gonna outmatch and outstrike Alex Oliveira, even though I think Alex is gonna be right there, step for step, throwing with him.
Yeah, I think Kevin just got a lot more energy. He's a younger guy. His last 3 losses are a lot higher quality of opponent than Alex's last 3. Nico Price is solid though, but even still, they're not on the level of Kevin Holland's fighting guys that just fought for titles. So I think just off of that, like everything's pointing towards him winning a tough fight.
Yep, I agree.
A workshop for these fighters.
Yeah.
I'm getting some experience, man. I'm learning a lot. For someone who's been doing jiu-jitsu for 15, 16 years, I've learned a lot this last 7-8 weeks helping the guys for their fight. So that's something that's very interesting. I'm very interested in it. Like I can watch these fights with a different kind of eye because I'm experiencing some things. I'm feeling the differences, and I'm seeing certain things like from my jiu-jitsu perspective that are like almost like cheat codes because you get to view things from a different viewpoint. It's the same for our guy Garrett, who we have in helping on the wrestling side. Like between me and him, some of the stuff we're like seeing just from an outside perspective, not guys that have been fighting in certain positions and scrambles and things that we're able to see, man, it's interesting. I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot. Like there's some things that are transferring over, some jiu-jitsu-y things that most striking guys, MMA guys aren't really privy to, and some wrestling things for our other guy on Garrett's side that like a high level of wrestling, like it really lets you appreciate that high level wrestling when people translate it to MMA. So I don't know. I've been offered before this. I was offered to help somebody with a camp. I just wasn't comfortable doing it because I don't want to help somebody with their camp that's not on the team, and it'd be my first time. And then it's like I'm just out there. Yes, of course, I'm one of the best in the world in jiu-jitsu, but I needed this moment here first. So like if that person were to offer me that after this, I probably would take it because I have some experience. I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm learning a lot from Master Lloyd. So I don't know. That's definitely an interesting path,
He's working up to Jake Paul, Derek. He's trying to whip Jake Paul's ass. Tom, the boss man
Jake
wants
Paul
Jamil
walked
to
into
fight
that
Jake
door
Paul
right now. The kids just came in behind me. He's not even getting past them, man. Jake Paul's gonna need a lot. He's got to stay with the boxing, and stay with fighting non-boxers. I'm still not sold on the boxing. It's like you got hands, but that's still the same as if I go out here and bring a bunch of wrestlers and boxers in and tell them to grapple me. Like
absolutely.
And I don't go against no grapplers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on.
And Tyron's 38.
He's 38, and he was on a heavy decline in the UFC because of his style. His style is not one that can carry with age. He's not a technical fighter. He's a point fighter, and he's explosive. And those are some of the things that go away first. So I want to see you fight a boxer.
And he had the chance to, but what's his name? Tyson Fury's brother backed out from injury.
Yeah, and he couldn't find no other boxer. He had to go give Tyron a chance again.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
He would have sold more pay-per-views with that if he would have just found any boxer, honestly.
He figured there was still meat on the bone.
Huh?
He figured there was still meat on the bone.
No, Tyron went out sad.
Yeah, he did.
He lost all of us like UFC fans who were just holding on for just a glimpse of pride in MMA. He completely lost us.
MMA, he lost the brothers of the black community. How about
He
that?
had me rooting again. I wanted him to lose in that second fight because I knew if it was up to him, he wasn't going to push the pace.
Meat on the bone. That is the All Real Crew insider. You better go back to the third episode. That's gonna be one of my go-to terms.
Meat on the
Meat on the on the bone.
This man gonna get a t-shirt. Still meat on the bone.
Still meat on the bone. I bet you I ain't wearing that outside of my crib.
Yeah, you can't be seen in the DMV with that on.
Nah, because they will roast your ass. But
so far we're both in agreement. We're both in agreement with these first two fights. This next one is very interesting as well.
Yes, Edison Barbosa versus Bryce Mitchell.
One of the guys that really put MMA on the forefront map with the viral
spinning heel kicks
and just the style. Like that's a style where if somebody's in the bar and they don't know nothing about MMA, they're gonna watch that man and want to become a fan. And that's none other than Edson Barbosa. I love Edson Barbosa.
That's some Jean-Claude Van Damme type shit.
Man, and he does that. Like he throws them things, man.
Yeah, he does.
Perfect accuracy. He's one of them dudes that will kick a bottle cap off the Gatorade. Like he'll do that.
He's done it more than once too in a fight. He hit Kevin Lee with it. He hit the first dude he knocked out. He hit it on another guy. Shit, bruh. I don't know how you have such pinpoint precision with that one move. Like, I don't even think I've seen Anderson Silva hit that move as many times as Edison Barbosa has. And Anderson Silva is probably one of the more innovative strikers we've ever seen.
Yeah, he's definitely he's like how Steph Curry kind of changed NBA as far as a lot of the next guys coming up with that shooting skill set. He's kind of done that with the spinning kicks and the spinning combinations and things. Like you've seen, like when he came in and started hitting that, a lot of guys started flowing in with going for those same type of techniques and really focusing on that part of the game.
Yeah.
And it made the sport grow. It made the sport very interesting. You didn't see too many of that, not at that high level. People are going to throw the spinning kicks whenever, but you didn't really see it at that level of like skill until he was one of the first guys to really do that.
Yep. And he's very confident when he throws that shit too. That's the scary part. He's throwing that shit to end you, not as some type of decoy, not as a bait. He's throwing that shit to end your night.
He's not trying to hit you. He's trying to go through you. He's trying to knock your head off the shoulders, honestly. And this man has fought everyone that there is to fight in his weight class. He's in his new weight class, but in the weight up, he's fought everybody. He's fought Cerrone. He's fought Benny DeRouche, Khabib, Kevin Lee, Justin Gaethje. He's fought all these guys who are title contenders, who are guys that are on the elite side of MMA. And yeah, as of recently, his record is a little spotty.
I was about to say,
but I still think he's a very dangerous dude. So far, since featherweight, he's 2-2 at featherweight. I think that the move to featherweight was very smart. I think at one point he was almost going to fight Sadiq, believe it or not. If I'm not mistaken, in 2020 we were preparing for that possible matchup. Actually, I think both of these guys were guys that were almost matchups. With Sadiq. He's in that featherweight. Yeah, he's in that featherweight pocket. I think maybe these guys were guys that, if I'm not mistaken, were on a similar path that those fights could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fighting a guy that's got a lot of steam behind him. This guy is like Bryce Mitchell, man.
Great wrestler.
Like, how are you good? Have you seen him in the gym? This guy owns a farm. He trains in a room with like 3 or 4 guys.
Bro, he's built like a farm boy.
Yeah, but it's like you see him hitting the pads, you see him training. It's like this does not look like somebody who's undefeated in the UFC. His only loss was in the Ultimate Fighter show, which those don't count for your record. He lost in I think the third round, but they were so impressed by him that he ended up getting the fight in the UFC debut. They signed him anyway, and he came in and he's been hot, man. This dude his twister submissions in the UFC. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Oh, and it had only been done once more before that.
Yeah, and if you watch his fights, he almost gets him a lot. Like it's in his bag. This dude, once he grabs you, you could tell like he's strong as crap. This dude got that farm strength. Like I'm lifting cows out back, bro. Like I will strangle you. He really just grabs you and don't let go. Like his hands are not the greatest, and that's why this fight is so interesting.
Yeah.
His hands are not that certified. I wouldn't say they're bad, but they're very mediocre.
They're
and
C-level.
Compared to Edson's, they're non-existent in comparison because Edson has some of the best hands in the UFC, in UFC history, like as far as flowing and throwing combos and just looking clean. Like,
yep.
That's where this fight's interesting. And Edson has jiu-jitsu too. Edson's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like he has jiu-jitsu. So this is where it's interesting because it's like if Bryce gets him down, is he going to be able to dominate him on the ground game like he does for all the other guys he beats?
And I don't necessarily know because like you said, Edison is coming up a weight, so he's going to be a lot stronger than he was, down a weight. And Bryce, like I said, he looks like he could be. You watched The Office, right?
Yeah.
He looks like he could be one of Dwight Schrute's brothers.
He definitely looks like he could be, and he talks like it too.
Yeah, but he's strong, and I wouldn't. Yes, he's not going to win the fight standing up, but he was able to take somebody like Andre Philly, who's not a bad fighter. Like Andre Philly got
hands. His fight with Sadiq was nice.
He's a pretty tough fighter. And he was able to take Andre Philly down with ease. And did he win by decision though?
Yeah, the thing with Bryce Mitchell is he gets so into the grappling game to where if he can't submit you, the fight usually just goes to decision. He just beats the crap. He just pretty much grapples you for the entire fight and just embarrasses you on the ground and just submission attempt after submission attempt. And most guys, I think the twister was his only finish, but has so many dominant jiu-jitsu positions. Like I think he's one of the guys that leads in like ground control. Like once you're on top of somebody in cage control, like he wears on you. And Edson showed that can get to him because in the Khabib fight, that's what was getting to him was that overwhelming ground game. Now, I'm not comparing Bryce Mitchell's ground game to Khabib's at all, but he's definitely showing that that's where he's focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it all just depends, man. I don't know I think this is a real good test for him.
It is.
Edson, who's at like 500 right now, but he's still super dangerous.
The problem is
a big jump.
The problem is the real problem for Bryce Mitchell will come when he starts shooting, and if Edison starts countering that with like flying knees,
the uppercuts, kicks, knees, and
uppercuts. That's where he's really going to have a problem.
Edson's not really concerned about. I don't think he's that concerned about the takedowns or the grappling game.
I don't think he is either.
Because he's already a black belt and he has that. He's one of those guys that's been fighting for so long that even if you didn't have that, you're going to pick it up along the way because you've been fighting for so long against title contender guys and title shots. So I honestly, I'm leaning towards Edson in this fight. I think he's going to hand Bryce Mitchell his first loss.
Okay. All right.
I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win.
Derek said if he gets in on the leg, it's over. I think that it would be. I think that one key is that I don't think Edison should really rely on his BJJ game because I don't think you should surrender points by getting taken down. Yeah. I honestly think he's not going to out wrestle Bryce because Bryce is a great wrestler. But I wouldn't be mad if Edison came in with a game plan to try to combat Bryce's wrestling, like beat him to the shoot.
Yeah.
And maybe that might be what throws Bryce off. Because all in all, you have to mix it up to try and keep the fight standing. You know, don't just throw your creative kicks and your flying knees. Shoot every once in a while to make Bryce reset. And he's going to be like, oh, shit. He really trying to out-wrestle me.
This is it's going to be a big jump. Like, Bryce Mitchell is going to have to prove that he is, like, that good. Because if you look at who he's fought and who Edson fights on the regular, his opponent, even Andre Philly being the toughest guy he fought, that doesn't match up to the type of opponents and styles. And he's had to feel Khabib's takedown game and guys like Kevin Lee and things, and he's been in there to feel that and learn from that. So I feel like Bryce would really have to like surprise me. Like, I don't think his game is going to work that good on Edson. Like, I don't think you're going to be able to take him down and hold him there for the whole fight.
Hey, I appreciate the shout out from the UK. We love the UK over here. Take it to the table. We got to take it to the ring. Appreciate you for tuning in. But Derek said he thinks the game plan is to lean on Bryce Mitchell for 15 minutes. I mean, that might be it. It might be clinch game. But I think that it's important to have Bryce against the cage. That's gonna be Edison's. If he's really going to be, if his game plan is to combat Bryce's wrestling with somewhat of a clinch game, and like I said, even doing some wrestling himself, having Bryce against the cage is probably his best bet. If he's trying to win, you know, with the points. Of course, Edison's not going in to take it to the judges. He is trying to end your life. And he's going to go in to try to end Bryce's life, but I think he's going to be a little bit smarter about it. I actually think I'm going to go out on the whim and say Bryce is going to win tonight. I like Bryce. I've watched some of his highlights, and I really paid attention to that Andre Philly fight. And if he can dominate on the wrestling game and on the ground like he did against Andre Philly, who is pretty much a watered-down Edson Barboza, minus the creative striking, he'll win tonight. So I honestly think this will probably be one of those boring fights, but I do see Bryce Mitchell pulling it out. But moving on to probably, it's not the most interesting fight because there isn't rivalry implications to this one. But how we got to this fight is a little interesting because this fight originally was a fight night card fight between Rafael Dos Anjos and Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev could not fight at the fight night because he had visa issues, so they moved it to this card. Fast forward to what, like week and a half ago, Fiziev got COVID.
Yeah.
And so Fiziev is out. Dana White contacted Islam in the middle of this week.
Islam last week was talking trash. He was talking that talk like he said, I'm ready. We got unfinished business. 170? Let's do it. I'm fresh. I didn't take no damage against Bobby Green. He said, I can fight next week, no problem. I'm already here. I'm already in Vegas. And
he declined it.
He got his bluff called out, man. Dana said, all right, cool. I can sleep peaceful. Dana said he woke up and all of a sudden Islam not fighting no more.
And here we are now to Rafael Dos Anjos versus Renato, the Hernandez killer Moicano.
Literally the worst possible matchup. Renato Moicano, you're going to put him, who a slight striker, jiu-jitsu base, against the premier slight striker, jiu-jitsu based guy in the whole UFC. Like, That's the Rafael dos Anjos is Renato Moicano. Like, Renato's trying to match that.
Literally,
he's trying to be that.
An iron chin.
It's like no one wants to see this. I really wanted to see that Fiziev fight because everyone wanted to know if Fiziev, but everyone wanted to know if he had a ground game, which a lot of people don't think he does. So we wanted to see, like, can this guy do anything on the ground? RDA is going to be the one to find that out, if anybody is.
I don't know if he would have gotten RDA to the ground, though. I think he would have fucking finished Dos Anjos. And Dos Anjos got a chin. We all know this.
And you know his style. He's going to go head down. He fights like a wrestler on the feet. He's going to pin you up against the cage because he will get you to that ground one way or the other. You just better be able to get up. And that's what I wanted to see. That's Fiziev has that skill, because if Fiziev has that in his skill set, he has potential to make a shot for champ. Like he can go far if he has that part of his game established. But we had to go to find out. I think that's why that fight was put together in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm a little upset too.
I lost a lot of respect for Islam. He messed himself up. He was ready for a title shot. Dana White now said you got to wait for Benny DeRouche to get healthy again since you want to play with my emotions, because he was going to get a title shot.
Yeah, he was.
He was primed for the title shot. He was going to wait in the tuck to see who wins the next matchup, and he was going to be there. But now you got to wait for Benny, which means you got to wait for this dude who's bypassing surgery, so like 4 or 5 month recovery. Then or 3 months minimum, 3 to 4 months. You got to wait for him to be ready to fight again.
Yeah.
Then that fight's not even to determine who gets a title shot. Then you probably gonna have to fight another fight. So he really just pushed himself in the back of the line by talking that talk and not being ready to back it up.
Honestly, he might. I wouldn't be surprised if he had to face like maybe Justin Gaethje.
The thing is, having to wait for your original opponent to get back off injury means so much can happen between then and now. Now and then. Like so many things, you don't know who could. So many fights and matchups, and people can trend up just as much as Islam trended up. Yeah. So he really, like, you in the fight game, you don't want to miss your opportunity to hit that title shot, and he's postponed it, and it could come back to bite him if he may end up never getting a title shot if the fights in certain scenarios play out a certain way.
Yeah, even though I think he'll still get it. I think he'll beat Benny DeRouche. And it's crazy enough because let's say the off chance that he were to take this fight and he lost to Dos Anjos, I don't think he would have gotten that title shot stripped away from him, because this is catch weight.
It's catch weight.
It would have been a throw.
He would have still needed to fight another fight just to show, like, yo, in my weight class, I'm that guy. But it would have looked a lot better in the company's eyes, not in the fans' eyes. In the fans' eyes, if you lose, you lose. You know?
That's true.
But in the company's eyes, they would have liked it, and it would have went to his benefit. And when you're talking about chasing the title, it's on the company side more than the fan side.
Absolutely.
So he screwed himself on that, and I don't know what this, like, Rafael dos Anjos is a guy who seemed unbeatable for a very long time.
Very long time.
He had a run.
Premier chins. He had a premier chin to ever grace the octagon. That brother had a chin. Like, I almost thought it was cheating that he had a metal chin. But then what's his name? Eddie Alvarez knocked him out. And that kind of stunned me. But you know, I've always loved Rafael dos Anjos' game.
Yeah, this man
tough,
run, man.
I love tough fighters who will go blow for blow. You know what I mean?
Like 2012 to 2015, this man only lost to Khabib.
Yeah, young Khabib.
And then he loses to Eddie and Tony. These are two champ type guys. Kobe, top contender. Usman, champ. Leon, potential title contender. And the only person that seems like they weren't on that caliber is Michael Chiesa, who has always been good. He just never really been put into that title conversation, you know? He's a respected fighter. He's just not – he's the one name that's like, okay, you shouldn't have lost to that man. And that was in 2020, and then he comes back, he beats Paul Felder, and he hasn't fought since 2020, the end of 2020. So we don't know who's about to step into that cage. We do know that Renato Moicano looked good as a mug his last fight. Better than he even thought. Nobody, not even his trainers thought he was about to look that good. Let me tell you, his trainers was probably having the same talk we had. You better submit my man. We didn't think he was gonna give him hands and then submit him. He gave that man hands on hands. But Hernandez is not RDA.
No.
Nor is he anybody that RDA's fought since thinking 2012. So we don't know. We don't know what we know what Renato Moicano is gonna come. He's looking good. But we don't know what RDA's coming in looking like. So we don't know what if he's coming in looking like good RDA, like he's been putting in work, it's not even going to be competitive.
Yeah, and he's had a week more to prepare than Bobby Green did for last week, but Bobby Green virtually did not get touched. Renato had, before he finished Alexander Hernandez tagged him a few times.
Yeah, no, it was the first 3 minutes of that fight was a little scary.
So I know he's hurt. If Bobby Green last week said he was still recovering from his fight, and he didn't, like I said, he didn't even get tagged in that fight against Nazareth, I know Renato is probably at most
and just
at like
the pain
70%.
from the camp and your weight, you get to put back that weight and recover it just to cut it all back off again. That puts the body through some stress, and we'll see, man. He made weight on week's notice. He made less than a week notice, to be honest. He made weight.
Yeah.
So he's there. He's seemingly in good enough shape. It just, is this going to be the fight where we finally see the age catch up to RDA? We've already kind of seen it in flashes, but then he'll come back and show us that he's still capable. Like when he lose to Kobe, lose to Kamaru, but he can still come back and tap Kevin Lee when Kevin Lee was scary a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It really depends less on Renato Moicano. It depends more on what type of RDA is stepping in the cage. I'm gonna go with RDA just off of experience. He's a former champ. Not even former. He's an elite fighter. He will go down in UFC history as one of those ones that had an era where he was scary. And I don't know if Renato can do anything with him. So we'll see. So I'm going with RDA.
I also am going with RDA based off of experience. He's just a seasoned vet. I think he's one of those names that is going to be synonymous with the lightweight division. I think Rafael also has the he has the advantage when it comes to the fact that he's coming in healthier than Renato. Renato is not, he's talented, but I just don't think he's that elite of a fighter to be able to come in off less than a week's notice and be able to hang with somebody as established as Dos Anjos is. If this was Islam, right, and he was coming off of, less than a 2 weeks notice, I could see Islam ending Rafael, but he's not Islam. I'm gonna go with Rafael off that as well. But
he's us.
I think that could be a fight that surprises us. I don't think, like I said, I think the Kevin Holland and the Alex Oliveira fight will be the one that steals the show. But it could very well be this next one. The long anticipated clash between former friends.
Is this the greatest storyline in UFC history? Story-wise?
It's up there. It's up there with some of the more.
Is there a better story? Like there's rivalries that you can say, like the John Jones DC.
Okay.
Junior Dos Santos Kane. Like there's some rivalries where
Chuck and Randy.
Yeah, there's some rivalries that are better because those are fights that, like old school UFC, where you fought the same person 3 times. Like y'all was fighting each other.
This is personal.
I think story-wise, like background, everything, and the fact that it's all documented.
It's personal.
I think this may be the best story to a fight in UFC history.
It could possibly be. I would have to. I would have to go back.
This is literally the type of stuff that you would only be able to get in wrestling in WWE.
That's true. That's very true.
This is a SmackDown versus Raw video game storyline, bro. Like,
that's
best friends, live together, train together, cornered each other, tried to bag women together.
Yeah.
All of this to where my man Kobe was about to get cut and had to change himself up. But in that process, you end up burning the bridge with your best friend, your old team, all your old training partners. That is just crazy to me.
And then go on ESPN.
And it comes full circle.
And go on ESPN with Stephen A. and call Kobe all types of broke bitches. And
he called that man Fidel Castro Jr., the street Jesus. This guy, I'll give him credit because he was good, but the UFC wasn't interested. And he had to do something, and he did it. Now, I don't agree with the talking about women and children. That has no place in the fight game just because it's like it has nothing to do with the fight. Most people are away from their families when they're preparing for a fight. So, like, what does that even have to do with anything? But he's trying to sell a fight. He is one of the lowest performing pay-per-view guys out of those elite fighters. And he's trying. And with Jorge, like, this man's been fighting for a long time.
Yes,
he caught a mean run. He went on that little reality show and was on that little island, that little fake Survivor Series thing. And when he came back, that man, he's been on a rampage. Since then, he's only lost to Usman twice. He's been knocking Bammers out cold. He's been sleeping people. It's been a little scary.
Yeah. But
style-wise, though, man,
it's a hard fight to predict, honestly, because see, I could see this playing out two ways, right? Because while this fight could be the fight of the night, could possibly have fight of the year implications, I also fear for the worst in this being an absolute stinker. If there really, really is true animosity and nothing worse, even though, like, I think there is, and they carry it into the octagon, this is going to be a bloodbath. But I could also see this as being one of those disappointments where they kind of hold back. And I wouldn't be surprised about that outcome either. I am truly and fully prepared for this to be a major disappointment of a main event.
It can't if it goes Kobe's way.
You think so?
If it goes Kobe Covington's way, then it would be very boring. Because he's not really a finisher. When he beat Tyron Woodley, he broke his rib.
That's true.
Since then, he only finished like Max Griffin, who is not an elite level fighter. He's good, but he's just a unanimous decision, man. Unanimous decision. Even when he beats people down, like he's a good bully, but he's not really. He don't pack a lot of power, which is why he was unable to do anything with Usman, because it's like, yeah, you're landing, but you're not hurting nobody.
And you know what? I think he's going to land. I think he's going to land today. I think they're both going to land. My thing about them is that, I'm just very scared that this is going to be a disappointment for the sole reason that you said, but I think if this really ends up being a great fight, and I really hope that they both go into this understanding that I don't think neither one of them's standing in the division is going to be tarnished if they take an L. Because
that division's there's about 4 guys up at the top, and then there's a bunch of guys still trying to reach their shot. So there's it's a lot of room. Like
And this is
they're
all
gonna
about
fight.
entertainment.
Yeah, but Kobe don't care about entertainment, bro. He's gonna try to
That's
hug
true.
and put this man down. And if he's successful, it's gonna be very boring. I don't know if he can hold Jorge down that well. But we'll see. It's like I would love to see nothing more than Jorge just put on a master class of striking and takedown
Yeah,
defense.
yeah, I would too.
But
I
he
would
stands
too.
tall, he fights tall, which leaves his legs open. He don't throw a lot of kicks. So your legs are open. It's not a lot of danger with that going for those shots. It's literally a matter of can he stop the takedown? And if he can't, can he get up without taking any damage or without anything else happening? And I don't know, man. I'm rooting for Jorge, man. I don't like
I am
Kobe.
too.
He's such a good heel that I don't like him. It's what he's supposed to. He's not supposed to be liked.
I do too.
And
And I don't know, bro. I just feel like Kobe's going in this to win. It'd be ignorant to say he's
yeah,
not. But I would not be surprised if Kobe comes in and does not follow the same game plan that he usually does. Strictly because even if he beats Jorge, he's not getting another title shot anytime soon.
he's still going to have to fight the next guy.
He's still gonna have to fight Leon Edwards. He's still gonna have to fight who's right under him at 2.
He could fight Gilbert.
Yes, Gilbert Burns. Thank you. But didn't he beat Gilbert Burns?
No, they didn't fight.
But yeah, I just feel like he might not go in with that usual, wrestling, hold him down game plan that he usually goes in with. I really do feel like he could possibly go into this bout trying to end Jorge.
And that's going to mess him up.
It is
going to mess him up. I honestly, based on the interviews in the press, I think he's a lot more emotionally into this than Jorge is. Jorge, he talks his talk, but he always comes back like, I'm not really emotional. I'm just telling you I don't like this guy. Like, I'm not being personal. I'm going to treat this like any other fight. Kobe's not talking like that. He's talking as personal. He's going to expose him. He's going to beat him down. He's going to do this and that. And I think Jorge, because of his personality, like Kobe's a heel. He's like a little jerk. But Jorge is like, that's his personality, is like he loves that type of stuff. Like he's going to talk his trash, and it's not going to affect him on fight day because he lives his life talking like that's really him. So I feel like he's going to be able to have his emotions in check a lot more than Kobe, and that could lead to how this fight is going to go. I honestly can see either Kobe taking him down over and over, smothering him, he can't get up, wins a decision like that, or I could see them try to slug it out, and I think he's going to get pieced up at some point. Yeah. But he does have a puncher's chance. He doesn't hit with a lot of power, but he's decently accurate, and he can catch you every now and again. Like he caught Kamaru with a few of them, but Kamaru's a tank. And I was going to say Jorge was a tank, but up until Kamaru hit him with one. So he's showing that if you hit him clean enough, he's going down. But I don't know if Kobe has that type of power or skill set to throw that type of punch.
Yeah. I don't think he is either.
We'll really see. And
I think I've always thought Kobe was a point fighter. I always thought he was just him. He's only trying to connect for points. He's not a significant striker. Yeah, he's not a significant striker. He will amount lighter strike combos, to score. That's it. And so he could very well go into this, to score. But it'll look good because, heavy combat always gets the crowds riled up. And, I could honestly see this first round being very exciting and the rest of the fight be like, and possibly even a decline from the excitement of the first.
I got the first 2 rounds 2 to 3 being really good. And I think by the end of that third round, you're going to see who's going to win the fight.
That could be it. I think so too.
Even if someone loses, even if someone like if Jorge loses the first 2 but turns it around in that third, I still think that third will determine like he's going to win the next 2 after that too. Like I think that round is going to be the determining round, and if Kobe's still standing, because I think he has a higher chance of getting something happening to him in those first 2-3 rounds than Jorge does, unless like Jorge has to get caught. But Jorge could put some damage on Kobe with the elbows, the cuts, and just throwing solid knockout strikes. So I'm really interested. I really want Jorge to win. I don't like Kobe.
I do too. I don't.
And I think for the story, it's better for Jorge to win.
I agree.
So I'm rooting for Jorge in this one, but I'm prepared to be disappointed, and I'm prepared to, I'm prepared to still watch it as a fight fan and just know that despite their beef and how great of a story it is, I'm not personally attached to it. So if the guy I want to win doesn't win, I'm not going to be in the room crying. I'm going to just be like, dang, that man Kobe's good. Because he's good. Like, no one doubts his skill. Even Jorge don't doubt his skills. He's like, yeah, he's tough. Jorge's saying he doesn't think he knows how to take damage and be anything more than a bully. Like, he only knows how to be the hammer, can't be the nail. And he said he breaks. He said he breaks in training. He'll quit, take his gloves off if he's not having his way. And that's why I think it's very important for Jorge to stop the takedown and not get him his way, and to see what type of fight he does after that. Like, where's his energy going to be at? Is he going to start showing signs of mentally breaking? So I'm really interested in this fight. There's a lot of implications for this, but like you said, in the grand scheme of the division, it's not that big a deal. Neither of these guys are getting a title shot after this. They both lost twice to the champ.
Yep. Their most recent fights are losses to Kamaru.
Yeah, and Kamaru's shown that he still leaps and heads and bounds above, but with everyone else besides Kamaru, you take Kamaru out the picture, it's a lot of interesting fights in that division to be had.
Leon, Vicente, who else is in that division?
Gilbert.
Oh, Sean Brady.
There's some interesting things that can go down in that division, and I think it's one of those things where people don't really pay attention to it because there's so many guys going for the title shot. But right underneath, like guys that are 1 or 2 fights away from that, Vicente Luque is nice. Bilal Muhammad, who's very boring, but he's there. He wins his fights. Wonder Boy's still in the mix. I don't want to see Wonder Boy or Neil Magny up there. There's some people. You got Kazmat, who's climbing.
Yep, another undefeated fighter.
I'm very interested to see, not even with Usman, but just how this division plays out after this. What fights will be made after this?
Yeah,
and if it's good enough of a fight, it would make sense for them to do a rematch because neither of them are getting a title shot.
Yeah, and that's something we'll definitely cover tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I also am going to be on your side as well, that I want Jorge to win strictly off the strength that I cannot stand Kobe.
I'm tempted to go with Kobe because I've been picking the wrong person in some of these matchups.
Yeah. I think Kobe Covington will win this match. I think, like I said, I really am leaning toward the outcome that I envision of the fight being totally a disappointment, because Kobe is trying to win.
Yeah, like if you go for Kobe, it's like a 90% chance of it being a snooze fest.
It's going to be a stinker.
Dominating on the ground and win a decision, with a 10% chance of him hitting a submission, like a back take or a knockout.
It's gonna be a stinker. This has stinker vibes to it, but it also has instant classic vibes.
And the thing about it is, even if it's a stinker, just because it matters who wins, especially with this fight, the bragging rights,
for the story, the bragging rights, the pride.
All that.
Jorge's fighting for more than just himself. He's fighting for his team,
his city.
Yeah, he's fighting for a lot. So I'm not counting. I'm not saying this is a wash.
Ooh, this is
It's a tough fight to call.
These are the type
It's
of fights
tough...
I hate because I feel so personally like I'm invested. And I don't want Jorge to lose because I'm so invested. It's not a fight. I'm not even going to be able to enjoy the fight because I'm so invested in the outcome.
I'm going to go with Kobe. But
I'll take Jorge.
I am also not going to be mad. I will be rooting for Jorge. Now, I think Tijon texted the group chat and said that he also thinks that Kobe is going to win, but he's also rooting for Jorge. So I think we're all in the same boat, except you're picking Jorge. Yeah, there is no punishment. There is no punishment tied to these predictions, just to let everybody at home know.
I still got to hit my last one. I may have a chance to hit it while I'm out in Vegas next week, because I think part of the fight kit or whatever, I think I may end up with a pair of their fight kit sneaks. So I may just shoey those on camera, you know. We'll figure it out. It'll get done, but I'm beat. This is the first time I've been a part of a full camp. I've been a part of parts of a camp before, but it's the first time I've been in a full camp. But we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow and leading into next week. But man, this is interesting. It's a good card.
Yeah, this is a good card. This is a very good card.
Only the last two fights are stinker potential. I think all the other fights are going to be fireworks.
I don't know. I feel like the Edison one has a chance to be a stinker if Bryce Mitchell wins. But if you're a BJJ guy, right? If you're a guy who goes into MMA, you know, you watch UFC fights and you appreciate the fights that are primarily on the ground. And those are the more strategic ones. You're going to appreciate that fight.
Yeah, because there's going to be two capable guys, and if Bryce is able to dominate him on the ground, that's saying a lot about his potential in this division.
Yep. The only problem is now I think Bryce got to start showing that he can hang. At least hang. He doesn't have to end folks on his feet. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't even think he has to dominate whole fights on the feet.
Man, it'd be looking a little crazy, but he is a tank.
He's a farm
When you're
boy,
a tank, you can take a hit on the technique a little bit. You can grow into that because you can take that damage and dish it out. And if people can't deal with that, they're going to crumble. So I'm very interested in this card. And
Bryce Schrute.
Bryce Schrute is crazy.
Bryce Schrute. But y'all tune in to UFC 272 tonight. The main card starts in less than an hour. Tune in tomorrow. Uh-oh. That was a little cameo. But tune in tomorrow. Little sneak peek. Tune in tomorrow, same time at 6 o'clock. We're going to be going back over the fights. And we're also going to be covering some wrestling news tomorrow. T-John's going to come to you about, you know, his experience to control your narrative. He also has a punishment to do because we had a bet and the motherfucker lost. So he got a 3 count. He got a 3 count to hit, boy. And we gonna get all that tomorrow. But other than that, in the words of T-John, that's all I got.
Well, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's it. That's all I got. In the words of Noah, there's no more meat on the bone.
There's no more meat on the bone.
The bone is there.
The bone is there. And in the words of Jamil, lubricant. You know what I'm saying? So peace out. Tune in tomorrow. Watch the fights. We'll see you.
Peace.
T-John got to end it because he's the administrator. So until then, you just gonna see me like this.
The Nardwar freeze.
That's why he was popping in every once in a while, cause you know, he was just checking to see whenever we was done. But watch, he about to pop up. He about to pop up in 3 seconds. Yeah, Derek, he is at the club. He bullshitting. That's what he doing. He about to pop up in 3 seconds and end it. 3, 2, 1.
Psych your mind.
Psych, I lied. Psych, I lied.
This man T-John said he was at Control Your Narrative. He had the Woody Club.
He had the Woody Club. But shoot. Well, we could just close out. Kaleo said we could close out. We'll see y'all.
It's just me now. Oh, wait, there he goes.